Hi there, good evening and welcome back to the GPL Build-Up Show here on TV3, the only show that provides you an insight as to what is happening in the Ghana Premier League. With Asante Kotoko drawing against Adriana and getting that needed win in the outstanding game against the Young Apostles. They are fired up for match 11. Hartlepool also drawing a game on the road, and all these teams are gearing up because they want to win the Ghana Premier League title. For clubs like Medeama, it is joy for them, and this weekend they will be hoping at getting 3 points at home. We'll be bringing you all the numbers and all the coaches' interview plus the players' interview and what others have been saying about the Ghana Premier League. My name is Mutala Yakubu, and today I've been blessed by three solid gentlemen. Resident analyst Mohammed Shaban plays with numbers always on the screens and will be giving us some detailed numbers with the teams and what they've been doing so far. But I've been joined by one man that I respect highly because of his data knowledge. I call him an encyclopedia when it comes to the Ghana Premier League. Felix Romack is also here and will be giving us an insight to how the teams are performing. Also, we'll be discussing one very important topic. There's pressure on the head coach of Swedru All Blacks. And the women in Swedru said they were going to stage a protest, which never came off to the disappointment of people like Felix Romack. Also, we have one man who cares about player welfare, and that is what they're doing. The PFAG are doing an incredible job at the moment. And Philip Asewe, who is head of a player relation at PFAG, also here with us. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
I mean, I know you are sad that protest didn't come off, and Fatih is keeping his job. We'll come to that. But before we delve into match day 11, let's look at the highlights of match day 10 and also the outstanding game that Asante Kotoko won by 2 goals to 1 against Young Apostles.
Got Amponsa on his left, he checks on to Amponsa. Sana is looking to drive one in, and Dari doesn't deal with it while in Emmanuel Mafo has put Adriana ahead in 4 minutes.
In there to stop that attack.
Lord Amos drive, and it's a beauty.
Ball to the near post, and they head it down, and it goes in. Japashu gets the goal eventually there for Medeama SC. He's on the side, worry with the ball. Lumote! Finally! And Medeama may have a chance to make it 2-1 here. And Medeama have had to go. And they have a second. Well, it is a man who was in.
Well, some interesting games that were played and some interesting and beautiful goals are there. Razak Sanu, the striker for BBN Gold Stars, opening his account for the Miners with that header to give them all 3 points there. Hartlepool also drew goalless with Swedru All Blacks, and it has piled more pressure on the head coach of All Blacks, that is Ahmed Fati, but he's still at post. So this weekend, a lot of games to look forward to. But before we delve into that, let's talk about some player welfare in the Ghana Premier League. Philip, because you are with the PFAG. Comparing player welfare these days to what happened in the past, would you say there's been a vast improvement?
I think there has been some improvement, obviously, with the money that the FA has pumped into the league. We've rarely had cases. I mean, it's still early days in the season, but we haven't really had cases of clubs not paying their players. And so we are just monitoring situations. Hopefully, it will continue till the end of the season. One thing that I've realized in the past few seasons working with the union is that almost every club that goes on relegation usually has issues with money in terms of paying players.
It has to do with finance.
Exactly. Yeah. And sometimes we take it for granted because we term our league as a league that gives players a stepping stone, and sometimes you don't respect the players and all these things. But you realize that the clubs that actually take player welfare seriously, pays their players on time, you know, bonuses and all that, healthcare and stuff, you realize that these are the clubs that always come up on top. So with the money that has come in, I'm excited. Hopefully, it will be something that will continue and the clubs will do what is expected of them.
Now, talking about finance, one of the things that PFAG is championing is to have a minimum wage for, I mean, both the Premier League players and the Division 1 players. So far, how is that going, that discussion?
I mean, the FA has approved it, and then they said at the beginning of next season, every player in the Ghana Premier League will be paid a minimum of $1,000.
But what has been the reaction of the clubs? The FA has approved, but what have the club been saying?
I mean, we haven't interacted with them personally. I think it's something that would affect them because this is a league that has, you know, in terms of revenue, they don't really have a lot of money coming in. I had the privilege of playing in the league for about 2 seasons, so I understand what it means, you know, with what the clubs go through, basically. When you have clubs like maybe Medeama and Nations and all these guys, when they have bankrollers who are, you know, a bit wet in their pockets, then you know that these clubs are able to manage the affairs of their teams. But with the clubs that usually don't have money coming in, it's a bit of a problem for them. And they end up going a couple of months, you know, being able to pay players and all of that. So I think it's a challenge for them. Hopefully they'll be able to...
Of course, because of the low, turnout that usually is accompanied with our game.
I mean, it's just the quality of the league generally, right? Because you're looking at not just money coming in from gate proceeds, but even in terms of how the teams are able to brand themselves to be able to attract corporate sponsorship. Because when you look at the leagues outside of Ghana, where these are leagues that we aspire to be, you realize that all these teams have monies coming in from, you know, the corporate world and all these things.
I think some 2 or 3 seasons ago when Tony Bafu was the PFAG president, when you tell players about PFAG, I mean, the reaction is often negative. But how are players, current players of the Ghana Premier League, gravitating towards the PFAG?
I mean, it's still a work in progress. For me, I believe, you know, sometimes you need to make people experience you. That is when they're able to build trust and all of that. So we've had certain, you know, people that we've encountered where they had, you know, cases that they needed our help with regards to getting their monies for them. Even in Ghana or outside of Ghana, we had a couple of guys playing in Egypt. They got treated badly. We ended up getting them their monies back. Some of them close to $1 million, you know, dollars. And this is money that transforms your life or your future, basically. So with these people, for us, these are ambassadors because they are able to, they've experienced us. So when we go out for visitations and then we talk to the other players about what the union does for the boys, they have a much more appreciation of the things that we do.
Okay.
And then they are basically our advocates in the clubs.
Well, we're hoping that the PFAG will continue to do that great work to ensure our players, once they come out of retirement, will have something to fall onto. So let's move from your space and come to the space where this man thrives a lot. Felix Romack, 10 games in the Ghana Premier League. How is it going so far for you?
Very competitive. I don't remember the last time where I saw the Ghana Premier League table after Matchweek 10, and we have 5 of the last winners of the league in the top 4. So you look at the table, Medeama won it 2 seasons ago. There is Diana, former champion, Gold Stars, former champion, Hearts of Oak, former champion, Kumasi Asante Kotoko, former champion, Samates. Yeah. So from the top spot to the 7th positions, we have 6 former champions of the league fighting to win the title. And that tells you how competitive. If you look at the points gap, it is just 5 points. That separates leaders, Medeama, from Samates and in that position. It tells you how competitive it has been, and I'm loving it. And I'm hoping that at the end of the day, we always talk about how well the champions of the league have been gotten. People feel that sometimes it hasn't been competitive and all that, but you can tell how competitive it's been. And even for teams that are struggling, 11 Wonders, Basake All Stars, Swedru All Blacks, look at Bechem United, look at Nations. Yeah. Nations nearly won the league last season, if not for what happened at Holy Stars.
But for that walk against Holy Stars.
But look at where they are. They are 14th on the log. Well, Hohoe United had a superb campaign in the Division 1 Zone 3 league last season. Look at where they are. Bechem Chelsea, being coached by a former winner of the Ghana Premier League, struggling. You have Dreams FC on 11th position. This is a team that won the FA Cup, went as far as the semi-finals of the CAF Confederation Cup. Look at where they are. So you can't look at this table and look at the performance and say it hasn't been a competitive season.
So it's been a good one.
I don't know if it is because of the money. That is why we have it a very competitively. But I hope that we maintain that consistency to the end of the season.
Now, we'll get into the games briefly, but Shaban, bring me news from Swedru. You have been going there. Why did that naked protest, not come off?
All right, so the traditional rulers of the town believes that this is something that is not going to help the community if the woman decides to demonstrate. That was last Tuesday. And so they had some conversations with the women. They encouraged them that they should give the coach some time. It's just 10 matches. It's new in the system, just after match day 10. But the women also believe that they can be around 16th place with just 8 points, and that is really going to affect them. And they also made emphasis that their next game is away, and that if they lose that fixture, the points gap will still widen, and they will be around 16th to 17th place, depending on the results of Basake Holy Stars. But the traditional rulers also believe that let's give the coach some time and then encourage him to work more. And so the women have decided to boycott the protest, and that would have been the protest of the year. We expected to see much of this protest happening. So my cameras were ready. I decided to go there to give the live coverage, but unfortunately, when I got there, the leaders have already been
I had friends who wanted to go to Swedru just because of this protest. It didn't come off Ahmed Fati stage. But it's match day 11, and can we go through all the fixtures and see the games coming up? Some interesting and mouth-watering fixtures to look forward to. One that I personally want to watch a lot of games because we know that it is starting on Saturday where Medeama would actually come up against Bechem United. That is a big one that we are looking forward to. That game will be live on TV3 and Onuya TV. And it's a game that we would want to actually delve deep and look at the fixture properly. Then there's also that game where Karela will be playing. I'll run you through all the fixtures, but let's go to the camp of Bechem United. They will be coming up against Medeama, big one, and they've been speaking ahead of the game. Okay, so there you have the fixtures. I know that there are a lot of games. Basake Holy Stars will also be in action. But there's also Asante Kotoko who would also be coming up against Samatex in a game that Samatex have vowed to beat Kumasi Asante Kotoko. That game is on Sunday, and we will see what happens with that one. But there's also Karela against Basake Holy Stars. I've already talked about that game that Medeama will be playing. And Hohoe United, they would also be at home against 11 Wonders, with Nations FC also taking on BB Gold Stars. Vision will be playing Heart of Lions, and Young Apostles, they will be at Wenchi coming up against Heart of Folk. That is a massive game for them. Medeama, Atapoku's team are faring quite well. They will be taking on Bechem. Chelsea Dreams would also be facing Swedru All Blacks. So these are the games coming up in match day 11 of the Ghana Premier League. Felix, big game. Medeama coming up against Bechem United. Bechem had to change coaches, Issa Botwe out of the door. Then they brought in Kobina. He's doing well with them. But Medeama at home have been incredible.
Very, very incredible. And they are showing signs of title contenders. And if you look at their performances in recent times, they don't care whether they are playing at a TNA park or even playing away. They are getting the needed results. And so far, it's been magic for them. And I believe that they have a team that can go as far as winning the title. Look at the Bechem team. They are trying to blend and set up a new team with the experienced one that they have over there. But it's been a very difficult start to the season for them. They are not doing quite well in away games. And traveling to Takwa, to a very difficult venue, I don't see them picking up the point in Takwa. I don't know if some of the players that were in camp at the Black Stars in the game in Asia, Kevin Nkrumah, I don't know if he's back. But then again, with the squad that they have, I see them picking up the 3 points against the Hunters.
Now, I mean, let me come to you, Philip, before we have a listen to their head coach, Ibrahim Tanko. It looks like they are genuine title contenders. They can have 2 players in the Black Stars and still win a game.
Yeah, I mean, and basically looking at their position on the table, it tells, how consistent they've been. Playing 5 games at home, winning 4, and then drawing 1. Having 13 points out of 15 at home. Unfortunately for Bechem, they've been struggling away from home, losing all 5 games. So it looks like it's almost like a no-brainer. Medeama for the win.
Shaban will take us through that game and what possibly could happen. But let's have a listen to the head coach of Medeama, Ibrahim Tanko, and the assistant coach of Bechem United, Malam Yaya.
I think we are playing home like any other game. When we go in, we want to control the game. We want to score goals. So definitely we are determined to do that. And it's not going to be easy. Bechem is a very good team. They have a new coach now. I think the players are motivated. But I think in playing home with our confidence, our supporters behind us, I hope that we will take the 3 points.
Me motive me and say team nebe to me League this season. Any target, I can say many, and so as a player, they will be on a target there, but many target, there are 2 minutes, they make my boy team, near to me, a League. I can say winning ways, Nana, a way you trim say, Yadiko game, the way you see boy born, and one, yeah, say, and one Yadiko a game.
Medeama, I think this season, we are one of the best team this season. Obian is only a tough team, but I think since I was a senior coach, I am one of my papa. I say mistakes be brave or team now, or young wage my son a bear team no be jinan in nice city. As at now, we prepare very well. From now going, yes, we be lose 2 points. We are either we or home match. We are respective or more as a team. But on field of play, I don't think a Duru respect, and say the better China and all marble.
We have to take responsibility of such blame because it's our job to fight hard and work hard for the fans to be happy. So sometimes when they criticize us if things are not going right, I do understand them in a way. So it's up to us to take responsibility and work hard and make sure that we win at all costs. I would like to thank the fans and everyone who supported us on our.
Can the Hunters really go and mine in Takwa? It is going to be a big one. That game will be live on TV3 and on Mia TV on Saturday at 3:30 p.m. Now, Shaban, I was at Bechem when they took on Nations and drew that game, and I saw how agitated the fans were, and that saw the back of Issa Botwe. They have a new manager. Results seem to be coming in. Can they really go to Takwa and trouble Medeama?
Well, the new head coach, Kobina Misa, has played 2 matches with Bechem United. He lost the first game against Young Apostles by 3-2. The first positive has to do with his side scoring 2 goals away for the first time this season. The negative aspect is that his side conceded more than 2 goals. And clearly, if you want to perform well in the league, you need to improve on your away defensive display. But for Medeama Sporting Club, in 5 matches played this season, they have recorded 4 wins at home, 1 draw, and that is the 1-1 draw against FC Samatex. In 22 matches played at the TNA Stadium, they have a total of 17 wins at home, 3 draws, and then 2 losses. And the losses has to do with Heart of Oak and Bechem Chelsea. And so they have a very good record playing at the TNA Stadium. Now, between the 2 sides, it has always gone in favor of Medeama SC at home, either at the TNA Stadium or the other venue, if Medeama are playing at home at their Con Stadium, it still goes in their favor. The last 5 matches, it's been 1-0, 2-1, 2-0, 1-0, and also 2-0 victory for Medeama Sporting Club against Bechem. And so, by the recent records, the last 5 matches, Medeama FC have dominated in all the matches against Bechem. Unfortunately for Bechem United, they are yet to pick even a single point this season, 0 in 5 matches played. And the last one was against Young Apostles when they lost by 3-2 away. But then August Nokra has started picking his form going into the fixture. We have to look at how Medeama Sporting Club can go all out to stop Bechem United from winning the fixture. But if you look at the current Bechem United setup, it looks a very good team on paper, because if you have Frank Amankwa, Isaiah Nyako, and then Kofi Tompu in the midfield, then it means that you've got some
They
good
also have a
midfielders.
former Manchester City player in
Yes,
their ranks.
Aminu Mohamed is also on the bench going into the fixture. But for Medeama Sporting Club, fortunately for them, their players are back in Ghana, and so they will have their 2 key players, and so the attack will be Derek Fojo, Abdul Salam, and then Nkrumah, who also joined the Black Stars. And then I'm looking at how the defensive setup is going to match. For Boat Regan, he is a midfielder, but being deployed as a right back, usually for Bechem United. Yahweh Champo and Baba Moro Abdullahi are playing consistently for the side, and also Adam Sanut will be from the left side for Bechem United. But for Medeama Sporting Club, this is the strength of the team, the midfield and the attack. Prince Owusu, Salim Adams, and then Emmanuel Owusu, who has got a total of 3 assists going into the fixture with 2 goals. He's involved in 5 goals for Medeama Sporting Club. And then Abdul Salam, who has scored a total of 2 goals for his side going into the fixture. Medeama would be more dominant. They will be attacking more. Usually, you find them around here. And so, only Salim Adams would be the only player you find him around the midfield, because his role is to block all the attacking balls and then make sure that they dominate from the flanks and the midfield to create chances. But for Bechem United, if it doesn't go well for August Nokra, it becomes a problem, because whenever they are with the ball, Darwin Yeboah is their number 9, the striker. But then all the time, they want to score from the flanks. And so if you look at Bechem United, all their goals have come from set piece, either a corner kick, and August Nokra would be the player to cross the ball. And then you find Darwin Yeboah, Emmanuel Aban making sure that they get goals. But usually, their goals have come from the wingers. And so if you look at this season, August Nokra is not scoring, and that is why they are struggling. He's got 2 assists, 1 goal, 3 goals involved this season. Then you can look at Emmanuel Aban. He's got a total of 2 goals for his side this season. He scored twice in their last home game going to the fixture. The strength of Bechem will be the wingers, Okra and then Emmanuel Aban. The strength of Medeama Sporting Club will be their 2 wingers as well as their midfielders who are very creative with the ball.
All right. So that is Medeama coming up against Bechem United, a cracker that would be on TV3 and, of course, Onuya TV. But one game that will be at the Aliu Mahama Sports Stadium, Karela, they are winless in their last 3 games coming up against a Baseke Holy Stars team that is currently in the relegation mix. And ahead of the game, Nuruddin Amadou, who is a Premier League winner with Samatex and now the head coach of Karela, has also spoken and is optimistic that this would go their way.
We have dropped some vital points both in away and home matches. So we need to, it's a must-win game for Karela on Sunday. And so we have to go all out to amass the 3 points. There are not any specifics. It's just that we have to have a different mindset going into this game, that we have to win at all costs. We have to play an attacking game, irrespective of the defensive strategic plan of the opponents. We just have to ensure that we go forward.
Premier League winner with Samatex, Nuruddin Amadou, now the head coach of Karela. Felix, they started the season well, recruited well, but along the way, things started going south, even though they are in the north. Things went south for them. And it looks like they've not been able to recover after that Kotoko, that 4-2 heavy defeat to Asante Kotoko.
But the truth of the matter is, when you are a northern team, it is always difficult, for you to have consistency in the league because of traveling.
Yeah.
Because if you look at a team like, Karela, they are up north there. Most of the time, they have to come down south to play a lot of their teams.
Yeah.
Even if you look at the teams from the Western region, there is Summer Boy, there is Samates, there is Ediana, there is Gold Stars. If you come to Accra, there is Hearts of Oak, they will play Vision, they will play Dreams. If you go to the southern, the other side, the Voltarian part.
2 teams there.
2 teams there, and then even the middle belt. So it would always be difficult. There will be times where they will get back to Tamale very, very tired. And they will do a lot of travels than all of the other Premier League teams. So sometimes it also, I'm sure for somebody coming from player welfare, most of the players will tell you that when you're playing for teams up north, it's very, very difficult. But then again, I expect them to at least try and win some of their home games. They started quite well, but they haven't been consistent with a lot of their home games. For this particular game, they have never even beaten Holy Stars in the league before, but this is a game I'm expecting them to start winning.
Well, I mean, Holy Stars also have a former Premier League winner in their ranks, Evans Adote with the Medeama, but they are struggling. It looks like not starting the league or playing their league matches at home has really affected them.
Yeah, it has, because looking at the statistics, you realize that so far only 17% of the clubs have won away games, and in terms of the stats. So you realize that this is a league that is very, very home win dominant. I think so far we have about 56% or so. So you're looking at the fact that even though playing at home, it means you're going to struggle because you need the support of the home crowd. And this is the Ghanaian league. There are so many other elements that
I like the fact that you said it's the Ghanaian league.
There are so many other elements. Fans hooting at the referee, trying to intimidate the referee, trying to
all plays a
intimidate.
part.
They are all very, very subtle things that happen in the games that influence the proceedings. So if you're not playing at home, you're definitely going to struggle. And for them, I think, unfortunately, they had about a 4-game stretch that they played away from home. And I think they probably lost all of them. And so all these things are, things that haven't really, really helped them. So I think they've played 5 games at home.
Even the mighty Hearts of Oak at a point when they were not playing at home, they were nearly relegated. But for that final win against, is it Bechem United or Bechem Chelsea?
It's been moments. At a point, they needed to win against RTU to stay in the league. They needed to go to Bechem and win against Bechem United to stay in the league. And Mutala, if you look at teams that have come into the league and have not been able to stay, it is because they don't have a place called home.
Kutuku Royals is a clear example.
You understand? Even for Heart of Lands, they nearly got relegated, if not for Bashir Efo. And one of the reasons why Hearts of Oak have even not been able to win the league, yes, they've had issue with coaching and all that. But look at Hearts of Oak. They played in Sugakope, they played in Legon, they played in that. There was a game where Hearts of Oak even have to play Kumasi Asante Kotoko at the Bavara Sports
as
the
home
game. You understand? So,
well, so it's not that easy. It's always very difficult. But one other game that would be on TV is Dreams FC, who will come up against Swedru All Blacks. Now, for this, I'll start with Shaban, because he has an interest in Swedru All Blacks. I mean, All Blacks...
Is he a shareholder?
Yeah, I have no idea. All Blacks started or came into this league with a lot of promise. After 16 years of not playing in the Ghana Premier League, they always have a packed stadium. They brought in an Egyptian. The football was delicious, but it seemed to have gone sour for the fans. Now they won the back of the coach. Can they survive against Dreams at the University of Ghana Stadium?
Historic moment for their 2 big teams, and clearly All Blacks since 2008, 2009, they missed out in the Premier League for 16 years. And then Dreams FC came in. Around 2016, they came into the Premier League and have been consistent along the line. But first meeting ever in the Premier League, Dreams FC have picked up Suraj Saidu scoring for them week in, week out, making sure that he gets the team at the top. And now, at a point, Dreams FC were battling relegation, but now they find themselves at the 11th position with 11 points. But for Swedru All Blacks, they've lost all their away games this season. It started well when they were conceding 1 against Nations FC. They scored the first goal, lost by 2-1. They went to Doma, scored the first goal, they lost by 2-1. Then eventually they failed to score the recent away games against Hohoe United, against Samatex. They failed to score in those fixtures, and that is really something difficult to talk about. So based on their recent away form, it will be very difficult for them playing against Dreams FC. Now, what it means is that if Swedru All Blacks fail to win this fixture, depending on the results of Bechem United, Nations FC, Hohoe United, Bechem Chelsea, the points gap is expected to widen, because currently It's just 1 point separating them and then Bechem United. And if Bechem picks a point, it will be difficult for them. And so they have to be also praying that Bechem fails to pick a points against their opponent, because by the recent performance of Swedru All Blacks, it will be very difficult for them to even pick a point against Dreams FC.
Well, regardless of what Swedru All Blacks are going through, I have a fan from Swedru who just sent me a message. He said, Operation Top 4. I don't know how that would be possible. And he said, our coach is not good and he's leaving the club. So let's see what happens with...
You see, I don't think that a lot of the Swedru fans are being fair to the coach and the team. Look at the teams they've played against.
Yeah.
They've played Medeama, they've played Samates, they've played Gold Stars, they've played Hearts of Hope, they've played Hohoe United in Hohoe. These are top teams. You are playing against former champions of the league. It would always be very difficult for you. So they should just calm down.
It's been difficult for Ahmed Fati, the Egyptian coach, but he says that he will keep fighting to ensure that he digs them out of the hole that they find themselves in at the moment. You're still watching the Ghana Premier League build-up show here on TV3. We take a quick breather. When we return, we talk about Shapiro J. Sapon of 11 Wonders.
Cadbury Hot Chocolate. Crafted from cocoa, milk, and sugar. Creamy, chocolatey, frothy goodness. Rich taste, so satisfying.
Cadbury goodness, the treats you deserve every day.
Back from that break, you're still watching the GPL build-up show here on TV3 as we build up to match 11 of the 2025-26 Ghana Premier League. Exciting so far here with Felix, Philip, and also Shaban. And now let's move to one other game that I'm looking forward to, Hohoe United 11 Wonders, because 11 Wonders have not picked up any win in this year's Ghana Premier League. Now, they started with Odati Lamte. He was heavily criticized that he has no Premier League experience. They put Odati Lamte aside. Then they go for a manager who has Premier League experience but has not been around for, I don't know, 15, 20 years. I can't remember, for a while. It looks like they are playing some good football, but the results are not coming. Are they playing with fire?
I mean, just going back to what Felix said about the home factor, it's always going to come into play because you need to rack up wins to build confidence. And when you're not playing at home, the place that you can really call home, then it's really going to affect you.
Why a place, your Eric quoted it.
Because home is home.
So University of Ghana is not home?
No. No, it's not. It's not. I mean, last season they played in Techiman, right?
They qualified from Techiman.
Yeah, that's where they qualified.
Techiman,
Ideally, all things being equal, they should have played from Techiman. But here lies the case. They've been bounced around. They've played some games at near J. Kreku Park. They played at the University of Ghana. I think one particular game, they even played at Swedru or something like that.
Yeah, they played 2 games at Swedru and lost all games.
Yeah, so it's been, a bit difficult for them. And for me, I think this is a perfect opportunity for them because Hohoe themselves haven't been great at home. They played 5 games, won 2, drawn 2, lost 1. They've lost at home.
Yeah.
So, yes, so if they have any dream of staying in the league, I think that this is a perfect opportunity for them. Go in there and then go and make something happen for yourself.
Felix, is J. Sapon really the right man to dig them out of this big mess they find themselves in?
See, if they even bring in Pep Guardiola, I don't see them surviving. They are not surviving because they are not playing at their spiritual home and they don't have the material and the quality. If you look at how the ownership thing went about, we all saw it. But I think the decision to move the club from Techiman to Accra would be their downfall, and they didn't also, augment the squad because if you
But
play,
would you advise the owner to go back for the second round if they can fix the
yes,
stadium
go
in
back,
Techiman
go
and go and play the second round?
Go back to Techiman because that is where the support base of the team is. and then also in January, go to the transfer market and buy players. Mutala, see, you ask yourself, if you look at the 3 divisions that we have in the Division 1 league, teams that come from the Zone 2, Zone 3 do quite well in the league. But teams from the zone 1, both 1A and 1B, they intend to struggle. So if you don't beef up the squad, it will be very difficult for you to be able to be in the league. And I think that is their major problem. Jay Sapon, yes, some will say has been out for the system for a very long time, with that lack of Premier League experience. But the quality that you need to compete in the league is not currently available for 11 Wonders. So no matter who comes in to handle the team, they will still struggle.
Shaban, is it going to be another win for Hohoe United? Are they going to bounce back to winning ways after the trouble they've also found themselves in?
Well, if you look at the performance of Hohoe United at home, clearly, yes, they lost to Medeama FC. They've dropped points against Medeama Sporting Club. But these are top teams who are battling for the league title. And so if Hohoe, who is a newly promoted side, fails to beat them, that is acceptable. But if you look at their performance at home, if the opponent is a mid-table team, then the results goes in favor of Hohoe United. But I side with Felix. He made a point about Zone 1 and Zone 3 teams. And so if these teams qualify for the Premier League, usually, if they don't prepare well, it goes a long way to affect them. In the 2022-23 season, Tamale City were relegated. In the ZAT season, they gained promotion, and they came in from Zone 1. And then Bofo Akwatano, in the 2023-24 as well, they were also promoted from Zone 1. They were relegated. And then Kotoku Royals in the 2022-23 season, promoted from Zone 3. They were relegated. But if you look at the Zone 2 teams, Baby Gold Stars 2022-23, if you look at their performance, extraordinary. Baseke Holy Stars finds their feet in the Premier League as well. FC Samatex are also in the league. Nations FC last season battled for the league title. And so the Zone 2 teams do quite well, irrespective of how they find themselves. Maybe the attribution to the field is also key, because all the teams that qualify from Zone 2 have got their own venue. Gold Stars came with their venue. Baseke have got their venue in Zema. Samatex came with their venue. Nations FC got their venue. But the teams from Zone 3, Kotoku, example, came into the league playing at Cape Coast. Along the line, they went to a Theatre of Dreams in Deu, and it really affected them. Tamale City, yes, they played at Aliu Mahama Stadium, but it went a long way to affect them. But let's take note. If you look at the position of 11 Wonders, if they are to lose against Hohoe United, let's not forget that from March the 11th, it's a time where the league is decided. And if you are not winning games, then you are going to be relegated. Records tells us that after March day 11 to March day 15, if you don't win a single game, there's no way you survive. And so it will be very tough for them. Inter Allies in 2021-22 season, along the line, after the first round, they had 11 points, but they were relegated. And if you look at the teams that have stayed at the bottom of the league, only Heart of Lions have managed to avoid relegation. Okay. And they had a lot of quality. But for 11 Wonders, a lot of work needs to be done.
Well, a lot of work would have to be done, and Koje Sapon clearly has to ensure that he gets them out of this trouble. One team that is doing the business of the quiet is Heart of Lions. They are coming up against Vision FC at the new Ajay Kraku Stadium. Coach Bashir Hereford and Lions, can they survive in a place where Vision also says it's a Lions then?
Yeah, I think for me, it is one of the toughest games I wish I get the opportunity to see, because Vision FC, they've made it their focus and their intention that, you know what, we are going to survive in the Ghana Premier League. And for us to do that, out of the 17 games that we are going to play at home, let's get 9 of them. Let's get 9 wins. They did that last season, they survived. I think it was only Dreams FC who managed to win at the near J. Krakow Park in Tema. And this season, they've done quite well. This is a game I feel that they will get at least a point. If they don't win it, they are not losing that particular game, because it is becoming a fortress. But you quite remember the last time Heart of Lions went there, they got a win over 11 Wonders. But this is a Heart of Lion team that finished second in the league last season. And I won't be surprised if they go on to even do better than they did last season. But this is going to be a very difficult, grounds for them to pick up the maximum.
Philip, we have a regional derby on our hands. Ediana Brekum Chelsea. And when it comes to regional derbies, it's hard to predict. Yeah. And this, you don't usually get a lot of goals in this game, but Ediana have been good this season.
Yeah, Ediana has been 5 games at home, winning 4, drawing 1. But Chelsea themselves they've struggled a bit this season. They haven't really been consistent. And I think that might tip Aduana slightly over the edge because they've looked great. Their position tells it. They are, per our eyes, you know, title contenders. So I think they have enough firepower to get through.
Well, now, Shaban, I watched Aduana against Asante Kotoko, and then I began to appreciate the hype around them. They have a very solid team. And that midfielder, Swedru Sana, what a player.
Yes. Max Solata, Swedru Sana, 2 pivots.
What happened to the old Aduana where they had a lot of old players?
but this time, I think they're doing something right, making sure that they blend a lot of young players with experience. Even with the experience, they look at.
By the way, Sam Adams is still there.
Yes,
Brighty J is also still there.
Yeah. But they start from the bench. It tells you how strong the squad is. It looks like the Heart of Lion squad, but the Heart of Lion squad
is spending the continuing money.
Yeah, but the Heart of Lion squad looks more younger. But clearly, if you look at the Aduana FC, from their goalkeeper, Osei Prince, he had some good game. The right back, remember Adoma Kumbuatin, the left back, William Dechin Tori. Sometimes Abubakar Adam starts from the left. Then the 2 experienced centre backs, Anoche Bedu and Alex Boache. Alex has been with Aduana for almost 5 seasons. For Stephen Anoche Bedu, he returns back. In the last 2 seasons, he's been out of the town, but he's back again with Aduana FC. The attack of the team, Mizaki Friye, Imanomafo, consistently. He scored a total of 5 goals, and that's positive. If you have a striker who has 5 goals in a total of 10 matches, looking at how our league is being played, I think they've got everything from the goalkeeping department, defensive setup, midfield strength, and the attack. If you are playing them, you have to be very careful. I don't see Bechem just going away to pick a single point against them.
Aduana have a solid team, no doubt. And it looks like Atapoku, together with Shoba Aristika, are really building something unique. Can Bechem, Chelsea, and Samuel Wood really worry Aduana at Domal? It used to be a very tough ground. It lost that invisibility, but it looks like it's back.
Yeah, it's back. If you look at the quality, I think that they did well in the transfer window. What they did was to buy experienced players and then make sure that they blended with some quality youth players. And you are clearly seeing that in the way they play. See, aside they getting the win, they're a team that I enjoy to watch because they are playing quite some lovely football. And they will go into that derby game in a very bad, situation because they lost a couple of fans after their game against Kumasi Asante Kotoko. And the best way to repay, or pay homage to those that lost was to get a win in the huge derby game against Bechem Chelsea. And they know very well that could probably even shoot them to the top of the league log.
So Aduana winning could probably finish the weekend on top of the league table. Now, Shaban, let's do this quick one. Nations against BBN Gold Stars. Frimpong Manso taking over Nations FC. He's not had a smooth run so far.
Yes, he's yet to record a victory, and that's a sad aspect of it because as a new coach, the results are to go well. His first 2 games, he picked some draws. We're expecting him to build up on the draws. Then, unfortunately, he lost to Bechem Chelsea by 2-1. But that's also a positive build-up because his side managed to score 1. But if you look at the position of Nations FC currently with just 10 points, a side that were chasing for the league title last season, now battling relegation, even after signing some key players, augmenting their squad with Farouk Mohamed and then the Gripmans. But I think they have a lot of work to do. For BBN Gold Stars, they've not been a good side playing on the road. They are a good side at home. On the road, it's really tough for them. And I think Nations FC would capitalize on that and get a victory against Gold Stars.
Well, Felix, your team, Heart of Oak, will be traveling to face Young Apostles in Wenchi. Young Apostles didn't start the season well, but they are beginning to pick up some results. I watched Hearts against Swedru All Blacks. They had loads of chances, missed them. It looks like that attacking front is still a headache for Masudi Dramani. Can Heart of Oak get the business against Young Apostles?
They can. If you look at the Premier League table in terms of away performance, Heart of Oak are league leaders in their away performance. But the major problem is the fact that they are not scoring goals. I watched the game involving Swedru All Blacks. This was a game that Heart of Oak could have won 3-0, 4-0. They are creating a lot of chances, but finishing has been a major problem for them. They've scored 8 goals in how many matches? 10. They are not even averaging a goal per game, and that is quite bad. This season, they've scored the 8 goals they've scored. Maoli Wayo has scored 2, and then Hamza Issa. Last season, Hamza Issa scored 6 goals, and then Maoli had 8 goals. The season before, it was Linda Intange with 4 goals, Hamza with 13 goals. So Heart of Oak major problem has been goal scoring. Defensively, they've conceded how many goals? Only 4 goals in 10. And that is a mark of a very good team defensively. But if you are not outscoring your opponent, it will be very difficult for you to win games. And that is one area I think Coach Masao Didi Dramani needs to work on. They have a very good base in terms of defense, but you have to start finding the back of the net, and that is currently something that the Phobians are not doing.
Philip, some Hearts of Oak fans said that Masao Didi Dramani built the foundation and forgot to roof it. Because they are struggling to score goals. Yeah. They are playing some delightful football. Yeah. And Agbasi, by the way, made his debut. A lot of people are surprised he's a good goalkeeper. I am not surprised.
No, I'm also not surprised. Yes. If you followed him closely from his days with Dreams FC, even the run they made in the Confederations Cup, you can tell that he was one of the difference makers in the squad. And obviously, Hearts of Oak, Didi has done great, you know, defensively. But just as Felix said, you need to score, and they've struggled. The game against All Blacks, Frank Duku, 1v1 versus the goalie, messes it. You watch a few of the games that they've scored. The games against Chelsea was like 2 set pieces that they scored off of. Yeah. The game against Holy Stars, another set piece. So it looks like that's what's currently saving them, because they are creating the chances, but they are struggling to score. And for me, I think that is something that they need to look at. But they've been great playing away from home. You know,
people are surprised Agbasi is a third choice goalkeeper. Well, he was one of the best players when Dreams FC got to the semi-finals of the Confederation Cup. So, Shaban, let's do Hearts of Oak Young Apostles quickly before we wrap up with the final game where Asante Kotoko will be taking on Samatex. How could both sides, or how would both sides line up on the day?
Well, Mutala, we'll look at the strength and weakness of both sides. For Young Apostles, Felix remark has answered everything. They look more potent than Hearts of Oak. And you have Samuel Prempeh, Richmond Opoku, who is their top scorer. He's done so well for himself. He scored against Asante Kotoko with the head. And then Hussein Issa is also good with his feet as well. So these are the top strikers for Young Apostles. But for Hearts of Oak attack, it looks like anytime there's Mauli Wayo, he adds something to the attack. He's more clinical. He wants to create something. He puts in effort, making sure that he worries the defense of the opponent. But in terms of converting rate, the coach has tried the 2 strikers, but the results are not coming. But usually, he would want to rely on Hamza Issa and then Hussein. I'm sure he's going to make Hussein more attacking-wise. He's going to play him alongside the strikers so that they can create more chances. Allow Paku and then Abdul Karim to play from the midfield, and then also have Rafael Amponsa. Usually, whenever Hearts of Oak are playing away, they play 2 pivots, where Karim and Amponsa will be dominating from the defensive side, allowing Karim to set forward usually, and then Paku George would also take that one. But there's something we have to consider going into this game, and that has to do with the opponent. This is the strength of Hearts of Oak. They would go with the set piece, and usually, this is against Bechem Chelsea. Hearts of Oak would always dominate with the set piece from the crosses, and that is also the weakness of Young Apostles. Young Apostles really struggles defending set piece, and example, free kicks, corner kicks would go in for Hearts of Oak, and that is where Mauli Wayo is going to torment the defense of the opponent. If you look at Hearts of Oak, whenever they are set piece, look at the number of players around their goal area, making sure that Mauli Wayo gets the opportunity to score against their opponent. That is the strength of Hearts of Oak going into the game. But for Young Apostles, this is their weakness. And again, if you look at, they considered 1 goal from a set piece. And this is against Nokra. That was at Wenchi, where Young Apostles won by 3 goals to 2. Again, Young Apostles considered a goal from a set piece. So they need to be very careful going to play against Hearts of Oak, whose away strength is set piece. And then your weakness is also
I've seen them concede about 3 goals from set pieces.
Yes, from set pieces. And so Young Apostles, and this is another goal again, and this is the strength of Young Apostles as well. And Hearts of Oak need to be very careful playing against Young Apostles. Look at the number of players in the half of their opponent, and you can count them. Young Apostles would always have a lot of players around your 18-yard box. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They will be here. They will crowd themselves in the 18-yard box. They understand the field so much. And so if you give them the advantage, Richmond Opoku, Prempeh are going to punish you. And that is their strength. So Hearts of Oak need to be careful in terms of set piece, but then that is also the weakness of Young Apostles. Well, if they take advantage, it is going
let's see who will benefit from that on the day. But one final game before we wrap up and leave the studio, Samatex coming up against Asante Kotoko. Before we delve into that game, head coach of Asante Kotoko, Karim Zito, spoke after their game against Young Apostles, where they won by 2 goals to 1, and he is also looking forward to this one.
In the first, I'll cite those who are going to play, and then let them know everybody came here with his own number. No, there wasn't anybody signed because of somebody. You understand me? So those of you now fit to play, you have to show that you also deserve to play, not to sit at the bench. So it's a challenge. I'll throw the challenge to them. That is a big challenge to you, for you to do what? To also prove that you are somebody. You can't be sitting down for somebody who's the sick list, come back to play and you are sitting down there. You don't deserve to play Kotomo. It's a big opportunity for those who are fit now to also show.
Abdul Karim Zito, these days he says if you don't add the Kabute, he's going to have issues with you. So Abdul Karim Zito Kabute, I have to do it because I meet him almost every week at the venue. Let's take a quick breather. When we come back, we delve into that game, Samatex against Asante Kotoko.
Cat